Hey yo, YouTube, what's up? It's your boy Wayne6578 representing that Smart Madden. And today's tip for you guys, I have how to set up your defensive rosters in Madden 17. I never go with my default roster. I always set my roster up based upon the way I play. I love speed and I love doing hit sticks and causing fumbles and getting a lot of interceptions. And sometimes the default roster in Madden is not the best way to go. So we're going to go through every position. I'm going to tell you how I like to set my roster up based on attributes more than just the overall rating of the player. So we're going to go through each position like I said, and we're utilizing the Jacksonville Jaguars, one of the worst teams in the NFL, although they did just beat the Bears. But in Madden, if you set your roster up, they're not the worst team. They're actually a pretty decent team. So for right end, let's go with the right end first. For right end, I like to look at speed and finesse moves, man. So we're going to go with Dante Fowler Jr. He's actually the starting left end on this team, but because I want the person with the highest speed and the best finesse moves, we're going to go with Dante Fowler. So as you can look right here, his finesse moves are, he's an 81 overall. As you can see, the next best person is this Yannick, and then we have a Tevin Smith, but he's a linebacker. But like I said, for the right end, you want the highest speed and the greatest finesse moves. For left end, I would like to choose a person that has he's very strong, high strength, and high power moves. This is your guy that's going to be pushing and bulldozing over this tight end that is usually in most offensive formations. This is the tight end, so you want this guy to line up over him. If that tight end tries to block this guy, he has high strength and the best, and he has power moves, so he can bulldoze over that guy. Now we're gonna go with Tyson here, and let's look at his strength. His strength is an 86. As you can see, man, he's the strongest person on this team, next to Roy Miller, which is a defensive tackle. And then you have another defensive tackle, RB Jones. But I want high strength and good finesse moves and good power moves for my left end. So let's check out his power moves. And that's why he's going to be my starting left end. 79. So it's pretty decent. You really want something up there around like 90 or whatever, but we can't do that because of how we're set up with this as far as the availability of players on this team. But again, for my left end, high strength and great power moves. Let's check out the defensive tackle. Now, the defensive tackle, your number one defensive tackle is your nose tackle. Second to the middle linebacker, that's the nastiest and supposed to be the strongest person on the team in real life. Now, Roy Miller is the one I'm going with. For my defensive tackle, my nose tackle, I like him to be the strongest defensive lineman on the team, and I like him to have high tackling. Now this guy is going to be, when you're trying to run that ball up the middle, you want him to push that center back, and the center can't budge this guy because he's so strong. This guy is 87 strength, man. No one else on the team has 87 strength, so he is definitely going to be a candidate for my number one starter. Then I'm going to look at his tackling. Now, another thing I look at is I like to look at weight. I know this is a video game, but I think the weight does come to matter. The bigger they are, the better when you're looking at a guy like a defensive tackle. Perfect example of a great nose tackle in real life is Vince Wilfork for Houston. That's the type of attribute you look for as your starting nose tackle. Now, his overall might not be that great, but I still want to put the strongest and the highest tackling person in my nose tackle position. Now, my next defensive tackle, if you're running a 4-3 or any type of formations with 4 defensive linemen, your second defensive tackle, you want your second defensive tackle in this lineup. You definitely want that guy to have high speed and great block shed. And we're going to go with Malik Jackson here. His speed is 75. For a defensive lineman, a guy that's 293 pounds, 75 speed is great. Offensive linemen are not that fast, so if this guy has a good block shed, we're going to put him there at our second position. and his block shed is 86, which is outstanding, next to 87. So we have two great interior defensive linemen. And how I would set that up is I would go through based on strength, block shedding, and tackling to set up my 3, 4, and 5 defensive linemen. And then next we're going to look at the left outside linebacker. Left outside linebacker, I like this guy. This is the guy that is blitzing in most of your default setups. So you want this guy to be very fast, have decent block shed, and you want him to have great tackling and good pursuit. So we're going to put Miles Jack right here. Let's look at this guy's speed. 84, perfect. I like definitely 80, 83 and above, 84 and above. The faster the better on defense. I always say fast is good. Acceleration is also good for any linebackers. You want acceleration because if they do something, like say if you're controlling a guy and you read a play wrong, you want to directly turn around and go the opposite way. You have 86 speed acceleration. So you want to look, that's another plus that you need to look at. Another thing you need to look at. But let's look at this guy's his block shed. Now his block shedding is 79, which is decent. It's not 80 and above, but it's decent. But he is pretty fast. I think he was at 86. The last thing I want to look at when I'm doing my left outside linebacker is the pursuit. So when this guy's going after that quarterback or that running back, his pursuit is 83. So I want to look at pursuit, speed, block shedding, acceleration, and tackling. So that's what I look for when I'm setting up my left outside linebacker. My middle linebacker, this is, like I said, the second beast on the team. He's supposed to be strong and he's supposed to be a nasty guy. In real life, greatest linebacker ever, Mike Singletary, Brian Urlacher, is a list. It goes on. Luke Kuechly is a perfect example of a great linebacker. For a great linebacker, you want to look at definitely good zone coverage. If you play a lot of zone, I play a lot of zone in my games. Good zone coverage. If it's man coverage, that's okay. Your linebacker definitely should have decent speed, great awareness, and great play recognition. So right here we're going with Paul Pazlowski. His speed is not that good, but his awareness is 88. And then his play rec, and zone coverage, like I said, zone coverage. I like to look at zone coverage for middle linebackers. Only 69, so he's not that good. But his play rec is 88. We're going to go with that. His awareness is 88. His play rec is only... Where is his play rec? Right here. His play recognition is 88. So this guy's a great middle linebacker. In real life, actually, too. He's just not that fast. But your middle linebacker, you want to make sure he has good zone coverage, great awareness, and great play recognition. So we're going to start him there. And I think he is the starting middle linebacker for them. Now, your right outside linebacker, this is a guy that's going to be going out with your tight end and most of those offensive sets, not with two tight ends, but most of the offensive sets, they have the tight end. So this is a guy to be probably guarding the tight end or near the tight end. So this guy, you want him to have decent speed, man, to keep up with these tight ends. Most tight ends run at 80 and above. They're usually really tall, so you want this guy to be tall, at least higher than the average person on the football field. This guy is a 6'3". His speed is 88, which is great. His acceleration is 89, 1 point away from 90, so he can definitely, if he tries to press the tight end or if he has to catch up to the tight end, he has an 89 acceleration. Really good. And you definitely want him to have good zone coverage and man coverage. They don't need to be the best, but just good enough. Let's see his zone coverage and man coverage. Right here, this guy's a 76 and a 77, which is great for this position. So that's what I would look for when I'm picking my right outside linebacker, my starting right outside linebacker. Good speed, good zone coverage, good man coverage, great acceleration, and make sure he's tall. Now let's go to the cornerbacks. Now the cornerbacks, Jalen Ramsey is the perfect example of the person I want to use for cornerbacks. Most of you guys don't know, a quick little tip, use the SWAT button. Use the SWAT button unless you know you can intercept the ball. You don't have to have a great overall receiver. I mean, a cornerback. For instance, Jalen Ramsey is only 82, but with that SWAT button, he's 6'1". He has, these are the attributes I look for. His speed is 93. His acceleration is 94. His awareness is 73. And then the other thing I look at is his play rec. You definitely want this guy to be able to recognize if it's a run or a pass. His play rec is 73, which is not that good. Man coverage 84, 83. Like I said, those can be decent. You definitely want that guy to be able to catch up to the receiver if he gets beat off of the press, if you're playing like a man defense, or if that receiver is just running across in front of him. You want him to be able to react to that and keep up with that guy. This guy has great acceleration. He's a great example. The last thing I would just tell you guys, like I said, go for that SWAT more than anything. If you're going up, these guys are trying to do the aggressive catch on you, go for the SWAT. I'm telling you, it's OP this year. Let's see. For cornerbacks, like I said, you look at speed, acceleration. Make sure they're tall. I like tall receivers, man. 6'3", if you can, 6'2" and above. Make sure you use that SWAT button on these guys. And then that's the attributes I look for. I like to look at awareness and play rec on these guys. Acceleration is a plus. Speed is a plus. And that's it. And just because they're overall rated a 90, those attributes might not match up to that 90 overall. So I would put those attributes over that overall rating. Like, I might put a guy here that is only a 62, but if he has those attributes that make it good, I would put him up there. So don't just go with the default roster. And then you just set your next cornerbacks based upon that. So we're going to go with Jalen Ramsey, Devon House, Aaron Colvin, and Prince Akamura. Then for the free safety, I like to have highest coverage stats. That's basically it. And I love speed. I love height. So this guy's an 85. Gibson is an 85. His acceleration is 89, which is great. A plus. Awareness is okay. And then you just want good coverages. You know, you go to look at your man in zone coverage, 62 and 77. Now for the strong safety, I like speed. I definitely like strength. I like hit power, and I like tackling. So this guy right here, Jonathan Siphon, is a 88 speed, acceleration 92, awareness is good. I like to look at that also. Let's look at this guy's hit power. His hit power is 79, decent. Not the best, but decent. His tackling is 73, not the best, but decent. And then the last thing I like to look at as far as this is see his awareness. So his awareness is a 71. So those are things I like to look at when I'm setting up my defensive roster. I never go with the default roster. I always go and definitely change your roster based upon the attributes and how you like to play the game. If you like to play the game, if you like speed on the field, go for speed. If you like people on the field if you like your best tacklers on the field, put your best tacklers out there. So never go with the default roster. I hope you guys enjoy these tips. Try them out. See how better it improves your team as far as just the way they play the game. You get a lot of block sheds if you put people out there who have better block shedding than the overall ratings. Again, it's your boy Wayne6578 representing that smart Madden.